Hey, what is going on YouTube? This is your boy Link again, and I have a quick video today. I just wanted to give a follow-up on this knife. It's been about a year that I've had this knife, that I scored my Grail knife, and I guess I want to give an update on it. I want to give, my thoughts. It's been a year of ownership, so just want to kind of go over, why this is my Grail and why, I've kept it over this past year. And even though I could have gotten, a pretty nice penny for it, especially when I was selling off a lot of my knives, I, decided to keep it. And it'll probably be a fixture in my collection, as long as I can, as long as I possibly can. A few other little tchotchkes here, so after this video, probably enjoy the cigar. I want to recommend these guys. I'm sure if you're a cigar lover, you probably know these, but this is an AJ Fernandez New World. Love this cigar. It's like, I love coffee flavors, so it's like a nice espresso at the end of the day. So I've had a rough week, so I'm gonna enjoy this. And this is not a normal Zippo. This is actually a butane lighter. So what I did is you do a butane insert on this. So, whoop, that's butane coming out. Hope I didn't burn anything. And then this is my cigar cutter. So that's gonna be let's be an after video enjoyment. But onto this knife. So why is this my Grail knife? I guess this is my Grail knife because I guess one, the price, and two, is the availability of this knife when it first came out. Just give you guys a little history lesson. A couple years back, these were impossible to get, and when you did see them, they were ridiculously overpriced. I mean, they're overpriced now, but imagine having to pay like $1,000 for just, a production knife, which is insane, which is what they were going for. Kind of similar to that Hinderer aftermarket price hike that you saw. These were just blew up, and they were so popular. But I was lucky enough to handle one at a knife show, and obviously the guy was asking, I think, for $1,000 for this knife, and he said he would give me a deal of like $9.99, I guess. But obviously I said no. But I had a chance to try this knife out, and I was just blown away. I mean, the biggest thing that you'll notice when you first get this knife is just the fit and finish. So a huge pet peeve of mine is you get a nice, awesome knife, you get maybe even a custom knife from the maker, you're super excited, you check it out, and it's not centered. Huge pet peeve of mine. I'm so anal, and this is just about as centered as you can possibly get a knife. It's perfect. It's just like a Sabenza when you first get one. Even when you get one, secondhand, it's just perfect. And when you get a Shiro, it's a good chance it will be perfect. So yeah, this is mine, and I can tell you, I mean, it's hard to tell from the camera, but mine's perfect. Centering was perfect, action perfect, finish perfect, lockup was perfect. There's not a lot going wrong with this knife. It's a great design knife. Not without its problems, definitely, but for me, everything that I look for in a knife, it just fired on all cylinders, and it was a knife that I had to get. Not at that price it was going for, but figured if they would go down in price, which I knew they would, I would score one. So, not all Shiros are created equal. This is an older model, so they're starting to do a whole... Let me go over my configuration. So this is an F95, which I believe the 95 refers to the length of the blade in millimeters. Mine is a S30V. I believe this is a sandblasted or some type of media they blasted. I apologize for this lighting, but let's see if I can get kind of a finish. It's a blasted finish, which held up incredibly well. Yeah, probably not going to get this on camera, but it's a blasted handle, or blasted blade, and it does look like it is stonewashed, but it could just be like how, the pattern, how it blasts on there, it kind of scratches it up a little bit. But surprisingly, I was really worried about this finish, but surprisingly it's held up very well. I wiped it down with the cloth for this video, so you see the streaks on it. But, can I get it at that angle? But yeah, it's a really, really impressive finish on the blade. And obviously I've had it for a year. I've been using it mostly on cardboard, nothing incredibly hard, but oh, there we go. Maybe it's hard to see on camera, but yeah, it's a full flat grind. Some of them have a little extra swedge here. Mine doesn't. Some have no jimping. Mine has just that really fine jimping, which I love. It's probably the best jimping I have out of any knife. Single row. So if you see right there, you see a little sun. That tells you that this is single row bearing system. Loose bearing, so if you do take this knife apart, be very careful because these things go everywhere. And this is a single backspacer. So it's a really nice flow through design, and obviously mine has this beautiful carbon fiber. So this is what, obviously I'm a huge carbon fiber fan, so this is what really drew me to this knife. This carbon fiber is unlike anything I've seen really. It's, you know, your basic single weave, I think 1x1 pattern, but then they milled it to give it a nice texture, which if you, it's ridged. I mean, how the hell am I going to show this on camera? See, it's kind of like milled this way, so it gives it some nice traction as you run your finger across it. And since it's milled, this creates a nice pocket right there on the outside of titanium. So it does lighten up the knife a little bit, not considerably, but just enough. And obviously these pockets of carbon fiber give it a little, just a little like, fraction of a millimeter more of width, so it fills up the hand nicely. And feeling this on your hand, it feels so great. And my thumb naturally goes to where the jimping is. Yeah, so it fits the hand beautifully. And what else is special about this? Really nothing. I mean, it's your standard F95 inlaid, just with the carbon fiber. But I guess what really makes this special is the action. When I first handled the Shirogorov, and not all of them are created equal, you know, a lot of them, some of them I handled, you know, didn't have the greatest of actions, even with a single row bearing, multiple row bearings. It was slight variance, but for some reason, when the one I handled the first time, it was perfect. It must have been broken in a little bit. That one was on washers, and that one flipped out amazingly and just closed like that. I mean, there's nothing I can do to show you on camera about a fit and finish and action, but just trust me on it. I really hope you guys get to experience a Shiro. They just do their action so well. It's dialed in perfectly, and it's unique. It's almost, it should be like trademarked Shirogorov action. I mean, you can put your finger pressure on the lock bar on like a ZT, and it'll still flip out, and then it just glides. I mean, I'm not like shaking it down. I'm just rotating the handle like that, and it's just softly and sweetly just smooth. This is obviously overstated, but this is what this knife is. It's just so freaking smooth, and just usable. I mean, the blade shape of this is this perfect flat ground slicer that tapers. It's so thick here, but look at that beautiful taper. Just ground to a very, very sharp pointy edge that just goes right into cardboard or any packaging so easily. And then this whole flat grind is just an incredible slicer. So that's what I was really worried about. I was worried this was going to be, I heard there was like when I first heard about these knives, I heard it was like a flipping Strider. So I was a little worried about that, but it's like Sebenza fit and finish with like the cutability of like a, you know, Hinderer and a Strider, and just actually get better. I think it's almost like a Spyderco, and just done so well. I mean, look at that edge. That edge is isn't that insane? It's almost like a zero grind. You don't even know there's an edge there, and then it just like a quarter of like a millimeter of edge. I've touched this up a little bit, so it's not perfect, but it just performs really well. And I'm not a lanyard guy, so I don't really care for that as much, but it goes with the knife. I mean, this is like a really cool design knife. I mean, the pocket clip is this milled titanium, which looks sick, and I love those little Pac-Man pivots and screws. They're really cool. It just adds to it. I think this knife, this it's just a perfectly designed knife. I mean, I love this when you flip it here, it actually has this area. Oops, this area where your index finger just lands, and it's a nice little beveled area, which is cool. And some people say it gives you like a little extra millimeter of force to flick it out, which is cool. The beveling on the lock bar is nice. The beveling right here, and just certain areas where like you just find your hand grabbing, and it's just really comfortable. And if you do a little pull cut that has a little jumping here, you know, if you're just doing really fine cutting and opening up a package. And obviously the flow through design. It's just, I guess for me, what really makes this a Grail for me was, one, the price, obviously, like I said before, and just overall, like the journey that it took to get this knife. It took a lot of selling of other knives, a lot of kind of indecision if I want to get it, and it took me years to get this knife. It wasn't just, you know, one day I got it. I've been collecting knives for over 12 years or so. I always forget how long I've been collecting, but I saw this knife a few years ago. I knew this is kind of where it would end up. And yeah, I ended up here, and honestly, this is kind of, you know, temporarily at least put a stop on my knife collecting, because I just, every time I think of, oh, I want to get a knife that looks cool, it's cool to have, I always compare to this. I'm like, will it replace this? Will this, not really replace, but will it replace my pocket time, I guess? And the answer is usually no. This knife is just perfect for me, and the action and the fit and finish were well worth the price. I mean, for you, maybe a lot of money, and you may think, my ZT or my Spyderco or my Benchmade's fine, and that's perfectly fine for you. I mean, for a while, Benchmade was my Grail, and I got one of those, and I was like, okay, cool. But knowing me, I was kind of looking other ways, other areas, other knives, and ended up going here. And oh, I'm actually wearing my my Grail watch today. This is my Omega. I'm really happy to score this, obviously. So Grail and Grail. But anyway, guys, you know, I don't think that a Grail knife is just about price or just about availability. It's really about, I was thinking of Indiana Jones, the quest for the Holy Grail. It's the quest for that Grail that really dictates it. It's like you remember how hard it is to get it, all the sacrifices you make, all the indecision, all like the time you take to it, the sacrifice, the saving of money. You know, you think about it a lot. And I think Grail shouldn't be just easy, you know, you just click and get it. I think it's just one thing that you take some time to consider on, you ponder on, you even take a few years like I did with this guy, and then eventually you come to a decision that you want to get it. And, you know, just for that, I hope all of you guys are successful in your Grail journey, and I hope that your quest for the Grail leads you to the knife, or whatever it is, knife, watch, significant other, that you that fits you and is the perfect combination for you. So this is the perfect combo for me. It's always, majority of the time, it's in my right hand pocket, and it's been a year, and it's been working out great. Anyway, guys, hope to see you next time. Hope to give you some more content, even though I am slowing down my collecting. I have a few things planned, so I'll give you guys an update on that shortly. Anyways, guys, hope you're good, and I'll talk to you next time. All right, take care.